What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny. In today's video, we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's rematch at heavyweight in London, England, between Johnny Fisher and David Allen. Guys, before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please hit subscribe? Could you also like this video? And right now, go down to the bottom of your screen and hit the bell notification button so you can be notified every time I put something out that's new. All right, guys, one of my favorite things to do on the channel is to cover rematches. Also, I love to cover heavyweight fights, and with this feature, we get both of them. It goes down in London. We have the Romford Bull, Johnny Fisher, taking on the White Rhino, David Allen. Guys, in the first fight, it happened in Riyadh. There was controversy. We saw for the first time ever, Fisher hit the canvas in the 5th round. The fight went the distance, and Johnny won a close split decision. Afterwards, people were saying he was robbed regarding David Allen. They thought that the White Rhino did enough to get the victory. So this weekend, we get to see the heavyweight titans run it back. Johnny Fisher is an exciting young heavyweight, not just in the UK, but his star is rising. He's a social media fan favorite, both with himself and his father. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go on Instagram and just follow Johnny Fisher and his dad. You'll understand what I mean by Bosch, if you're unaware what that means. The White Rhino, they call him the Doncaster de la Hoya. David Allen has 2 nicknames. So the British boxing fans, for you Americans, all you have to know, you watched Eubanks Jr. versus Ben. You saw that stadium, Tottenham Hotspur, going crazy. This isn't going to be as big in terms of capacity, but it's going to be equally as electric. This is the headliner, and a lot of true blue fight fans are stoked to see what happens. That first match was back and forth. What we really got to see was the heart of a young Johnny Fisher. They call him the Romford Bull, A, because he's a beast, but B, if you haven't seen that fight, go to it, watch the 5th round, watch what happened when he got dropped for the first time, watch what he did in the seconds afterwards. As soon as he gets counted up, he puts his guard up and walks David Allen down with his head just like this and almost got dropped again. He was almost out on his feet. It's insane that he was able to recover, but he did, and this is why his fans love him, because he's resilient and gritty, and he showed a lot. Sometimes in boxing, when you're undefeated, you've never been tested, your fan base, the boxing community, really doesn't know what you're made of until you get tested, and we saw Fisher get tested. David Allen's been in there with some of the best in his era, some of the best in his generation. He's been dropped, stopped, beaten up before, but each time he's come back, and he still thinks in his mid-30s that he can become a world champion. He has power in both hands. That's what makes this exciting for fight fans. Right now, I want to take a closer look to see what's at stake this weekend in Essex. Guys, boxing has a unique way of telling stories. It's not just about punches thrown or hands raised in victory. It's about the journeys, the dreams on the line, and the raw will of 2 men stepping into the ring with more than a belt at stake. This Saturday, May 17th at London's Copper Box Arena, Johnny Fisher and David Allen will square off once again in a rematch that promises fireworks, and this time, a result that leaves no room for doubt. In their first fight back in December, it ended in controversy. Fisher, the undefeated 26-year-old rising heavyweight, overcame a knockdown in the 5th round and emerged with a razor-thin split decision win. 2 judges scored at 95-94 for Fisher, while the third gave Allen the nod at 96-93. It was a grueling back-and-forth battle that left fans and pundits alike debating whether the right man had his hand raised. For Allen, 33, that night in Saudi Arabia was a bitter pill to swallow. Known for his toughness and gritty style, the veteran felt he had done enough to walk away with the WBA Intercontinental title. The judges disagreed, and now Allen enters the rematch with something to prove and a chance at redemption. Fisher, meanwhile, understands the weight this bout carries. His win over Allen preserved his undefeated record and earned him the title, but also raised questions about how he handles pressure against experienced opposition. On Saturday, He's not just defending a belt. He's aiming to silence the doubters and deliver a definitive performance that leaves no question marks. With pride, redemption, and championship gold on the line, Fisher vs. Allen 2 is more than a rematch. It's a fight for clarity, closure, and legacy. Let's go! This is one of those fights that fight fans don't really need to know anything about each one of these guys to get excited about this matchup. So right now, I want to take a closer look at the career of David Allen and see what he's been up to. Guys, David Allen is 23-7-2 with 18 knockouts. Out of 1,568 heavyweights in the world, he's ranked 128. Out of 59 in the UK, he is number 16. He has a career 139 pro rounds fought, and he brings into the ring a 78% career knockout to win ratio. His adoring fans know him as the White Rhino, and the 33-year-old Brit is a 6'3" orthodox fighter with a 75-inch reach. He resides in Conisbrough, Yorkshire, United Kingdom. We last saw him fight Johnny Fisher 12-0, lost a split in the 10th. Buchetta 8-14, points decision in the 4th. Darnell 2-25, points decision in the 4th. Fraser Clark 7-0, got stopped in the 6th. Michael Bassett 2-8, stopped him in the 1st. Going into the first fight, the knock on Dave Allen was that this guy was a gritty heavyweight, but he had been stopped multiple times, and his opponents up until the first fight weren't that good. He was coming off that stoppage loss to Fraser Clark, and he was taking a couple rebound fights. So a lot of people and pundits didn't know what to expect from Allen. A lot of people were saying he was going to get stopped early. But it's why the heavyweight division is so interesting and exciting, especially for veterans, because we know with that division, the last thing to leave with boxers is their power. So you see a lot of older fighters in that heavyweight division become world champions at a later age than you see in the lighter divisions. And with this, Dave Allen still thinks that he has the pedigree to do so. He's been in there with some of his era's best fighters, like I said, and every time he gets to that top tier, he doesn't always come out on top. But you saw what he's made of in the first fight with Fisher. When I think about what he's going to try to do, probably be a little bit more composed, but maybe not. The punch that he was finding home for was that overhand right. It was almost like a bolo punch, but the punch that dropped Fisher was more of a seasoned veteran move. It was after a break, and Fisher wasn't being as defensively responsible and was kind of loose in his guard, and that's where Allen found a home for his combo and dropped him. So that was something that I picked up on right off the bat, where a lot of the little breaks, a lot of the punching behind the head, a lot of the clinch work, you saw David Allen's pedigree and his experience showcasing winning the smaller fights within the fights in the first one. But even that wasn't enough to get him a victory on the judges' scorecards. We'll see what happens in the rematch. Right now, let's take a closer look at the Romford Bull and see what he's been up to. Guys, Johnny Fisher's 13-0 with 11 knockouts. Out of 1,568 heavyweights in the world, he's ranked number 56. Out of 59 in the UK, he is number 14. He has a career pro rounds of 41. He carries in the ring an 85% career knockout to win ratio. His adoring fans know him as the Romford Bull. The 26-year-old Brit is a 6'4" orthodox fighter. We last saw him fight David Allen 23-6, won a split in the 10th. Babbage 12-1, stopped him in the first. Bays is 10-1, stopped him in the first. Armstrong 5-1, stopped him in the 7th. So guys, going into that first fight, the knock on Fisher was, will he be able to deal with this big step up in competition? He was used to knocking guys out real early, high knockout to win ratio, doesn't have a lot of pro rounds. So a lot of questions were answered, especially when we saw in that first fight in the 5th round, him getting dropped for the first time and almost stopped. We got to see what he was made of. We got to see his spirit. And this is why you fight fans who might not have ever seen him fight, tune in this weekend. You'll also hear a cheering section, crazed fans. Go to his social media like I already talked about. There's a lot of excitement about this guy, and there's a lot of things to be excited about when you're talking about Johnny Fisher. When I look at these guys side by side, you got to give the experience to the veteran David Allen. You got to give the psychological one up, though, to Fisher, because he won the first fight. But then again, do you really? Because he got dropped in the first fight. So a lot of things are 50-50 in my eyes. Everything from what we see on paper to the tail of the tape. Everything what we saw even in the last fight, 50-50. One guy wins the fight, but the guy who won got dropped. So the guy who lost the fight still thinks that he won. So you never know what each guy is thinking right now going into this rematch. What we can do as pundits and analysts trying to break this down, let's take a look at what happened today at the press conference when they met face to face and see if we could see anything in their demeanors.
Versus Dave Allen 2, live only on DAZN. Fisher.
All right, guys, right now I want to take a closer look at the Las Vegas odds before giving you guys my prediction. Remember, I'm going to just go over my money line prediction here. Tomorrow on my channel, I'll be doing a live stream, which I'll go over method of victory, prop bets, and locks of the week, covering this card, the card in California, as well with Serhii Bohacek. So I use an app down here called Sportsbet. Wherever you are in the world, let's pull our book out and see what our money line looks like. All right, guys, currently on the money line, Johnny Fisher's $1.41, meaning you put $100 on him, you get 41 bucks back. The draw is 17-1. David Allen is a 320, meaning you take him to win on the money line, you put 100 on him, you get your money back plus 220. Guys, the odds aren't quite at a 50-50. Even me sitting here with my big screen in the background, having just watched the first fight and about to give you my prediction, I can honestly say I'm still 50-50. This is a close fight. It's an intriguing fight, and these are going to be two exciting heavyweights. This isn't going to be a jab and grab festival. This is going to be two big guys trying to knock each other out. Where I'm going to lean on, though, in this fight, they're heavyweights. We know what happened in the first meeting. I'm going to lean on the youth, the energy, the experience, and that crowd. I'm siding with the Romford Bull, Johnny Fisher. I think that he's going to be too much. I think where he is in his pedigree, that learning experience, everything he took from those little clinch techniques that he was losing in the first fight, the fight within the fight that he was losing in the first fight, why he got dropped, he lost a little bit of mental focus. I think he's going to tie all of that up. I'm fully expecting to see an even sharper, an even smarter, and an even more dangerous Johnny Fisher. This is not an echo chamber. You do not have to agree with me. In the comment section below right now, let me know who you're putting your money on. Also, guys, if you haven't seen my breakdown, analysis, and prediction of the British middleweight title fight happening on this card between Kieran Conway and Jerome Warburton, stay tuned to the channel because that's coming up right now.